Hello everyone, this is Priyasha from XAT, and in this third series video of cracking XAT, or what should I say, this XAT workshop basically. So this is the third video here, which is dealing with decision making part one. So decision making के 10 videos आने वाले हैं, and out of this one is the first one, and the first one is going to seriously talk about theory a lot and a non-PYQ. Okay, so this will be focusing on theory plus the non-PYQ. Now, why am I so serious about the theory? I'll tell you. Because generally लोगों का perception regarding DM is that it is highly subjective, relative, लोगों को accuracy नहीं मिलती है. To some extent, it's true, but the reason behind that is something which many people don't know, and that's the reason why this happens. The reason is कि आप उसे सही way से approach नहीं करते हो. क्योंकि आप देख सकते हो, you can go around and check, especially with many people who are comfortable in DM. अगर आप उनसे पूछोगे तो they will be like saying it in a very simple language that okay, just think the way you're supposed to think if you are a CEO. Just think the way you're supposed to think if you are a supervisor. And what does that mean is what we'll be discussing in the theory part, जो मैंने अभी तक अपने playlist में कहीं पे भी नहीं किया है. And now, before I proceed, I want to tell you a very serious thing because you will be getting this video in like January, I mean December. So it's very close to that. And also for the ones who are expecting any kind of a call from any of the colleges for the GDPI round or anything, let it be anything. Even if you're planning for next year CAT, whatever your plan is, something which is very essential for you is your communication skill. वो किसी भी चीज में, remember this, they can actually take anything into consideration. वो कुछ भी consider कर सकते हैं, but they will never consider someone who lacks in communication skill. So, see, remember that you're in MBA, okay? And when you're in MBA, you are expected कि आप अपनी मन की बात at least clearly सामने वाले के सामने रख सको. Okay, so when it comes to this stage, what we can do is we can start talking to ourselves at least in English. So here on, I will try to use minimum Hindi possible in the videos as well, so that you people are also habituated to hearing English, understanding in English, and when you are also revising the things or recalling whatever you learned in the past few minutes or the entire day or so, you recall things in English. This three step is enough for you to be fluent in English to clear any, GDPI round. So that's all. That's I wanted to tell you that I'll be focusing more on English from now on. So let's get started. We will start with the types of decisions. Now, when I say the type of decisions, you are like, what are we planning to do in this video? Like, where are the questions? Well, the questions are coming up, but then right now, what is more essential for you to understand here is why do people do mistakes and how are some set of people able to do all the DM questions correct? Well, that's the difference here. They don't understand the real difference, or you can say the core of decision making. Remember one thing with business perspective, being managers, you have to take decisions at every now and then. And that's why XLRI believes, or any examination which takes or accepts the ZAT score, believes the point that yes, decision making is a very key area. Now, coming down to the types of decisions, why do we need to take it into consideration? Because in the DM questions, some questions are related to very repetitive work. I'll give you an example, and that's what I'm going to talk about the programmed decisions over here. These are some repetitive business solutions or situations where you will find it in every now and then. Let's say a very common one, a customer complaint. And see, I'm not writing it down, guys, so I want you people to focus when I'm speaking. I will not write all the keywords here. I'll write only few of them. So please focus. And if you're listening to me carefully, then start noting down also. Examples like customer complaints, how the employees are going to be trained, what kind of employee grievances we can have. All these things are some routine activity. Don't you think that it appears in every company that people are having grievances against their work culture or things like that? Similarly, complaints always are always a part of every company. Okay, so that's what I wanted you to focus on to understand. These are some repetitive work or decisions which the manager has to take, and these type of questions are called as programmed decisions. And in DM questions, you will come across some questions which are programmed decisions, which are highly scoring, highly scoring. Why? Because the answer is almost fixed for every case. Of course, if you're having a grievance, how to go ahead and approach that grievance is a very basic step. You can even Google that out, right? So it's almost fixed, and therefore I would say is highly scoring. So until and unless you know the difference between what a programmed decision is and what a non-programmed decision is, taking a decision during the examination that which DM set to approach and which DM set to leave is a difficult task. Similarly, if I go down to the non-programmed decisions, here, as the name suggests, something which is definitely not thought of before is random and is also considered as complex. Okay, it is complex in the sense that there is no sought after solution. ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले से हम ये करते आ रहे हैं, so we are also planning to do it in the same way as we were doing earlier. This is something like a new problem which involves creativity for the solution, which involves a kind of judgment of the current situation. सारी चीजों की हमें जरूरत पड़ सकती है. So what we will be doing here is we will be trying to take up what kind of questions would come under the non-programmed decisions. The non-program decision questions can be launching of new products, or it can be opening of new centers and managing the crisis of any time, like a crisis situation. All these are examples of non-programmed questions or where you have to take non-programmed decisions. And if you have gone through the PYQ already, you must be coming across many questions where I remember one of them where we were planning out that what we will do for a bakery or something. Okay, so these type of questions where you have to open a new center or a new opening for a bakery, these type of decisions are non-programmed because that depends upon the current situation in which you have to take a decision. Now, based on this, we also have another few categories which is at the level at which it is taken. This is yet another very, very, very important section to be kept in mind. When you are taking a decision, if you have seen my shorts related to DM, you must have seen one of the shorts where I've said that the best way to approach the DM questions is to put yourself into the shoes of the decision maker. And how would you get to know that? That who is the decision maker? The moment you realize that who is making the decision, you have solved half of the answer. Remember this. So that's what is the different types of decisions. Strategic decision is the top level decision. Top level decision means decisions taken by CEO, CFO, CHROs, and etc. Okay, the president and things like that. The people who are at the topmost level who take any kind of a decision for the company are considered to be taking a strategic decision. But what makes us important, like what is important over here? What makes us think about why is it a strategic decision and what should we do here? The answer to this is the big picture. Yes, they will always prefer to keep the big picture in mind. वो छोटे मोटे डिसीजंस या छोटे मोटे इम्पैक्ट रखने वाले डिसीजंस कभी नहीं लेंगे. They will always do something. Their actions will be oriented in such a direction which will affect the company in the long run and at the same time would be a sustainable solution. If you have seen my videos already, you know I have been stressing on the sustainable answers a lot. So these kind of solutions come from the head of the the entire company, let's say the topmost level, top tier. Similarly, tactical decisions is the mid level. Okay, it's the mid level people, like let's say a department head, or let's not go to department head also, let's take it a little more higher, like the VP level. Okay, the VP level, the director of any department like sales or marketing, something. This level is called as tactical decisions. This is the middle management basically, and they are somewhere between strategic decisions and operational decisions. Means they have to keep in mind that the solution should be impactful in the present scenario. At the same time, it should also be in line with the vision and mission. Okay, you must have heard about these terms. Okay, and nahi suna to definitely when you'll get into a B school, you will know more about it. So vision or mission, What has happened to my throat? So sorry for that, guys. So here I'm talking about the vision and the uh, mission. Okay, so this is what I meant, and mission of the company. So vision and the mission of the company को ध्यान में रख के आगे चलने वाले लोग take tactical decisions, and their decisions will be a very balanced decisions with respect to any department, decision with respect to any budgeting, any quality control system, etc., etc., are taken at the tactical level. Then we come to the operational decision, which is the lowest level of management, जैसे कि supervisors को ले लो, head of the department को ले लो. All these things are operational. These people take operational decisions. Of course, it has a very low impact or a short-term impact. Why low and short-term impact? Because of course they are like only impacting a particular section of people. So impact is smaller, and at the same time they don't think about the long run. And so when you are asked to take a decision, suppose they give you a question where they say that Mr. X is a supervisor. So what will be the course of action in this scenario? So when we are talking about course of action, be very, very, very serious in this thing. Course of action is not the desirable thing to do. Please remember this. I have added a pause here, जानबूझ के. What am I trying to say here is course of action डिजायरेबल होना जरूरी नहीं है. Course of action is basically something what you can predict from the nature of the job which the person is currently doing. For example, Mr. X is a supervisor, I told you. That means he will be taking some operational decisions. And if he is taking operational decisions, course of action में कभी भी number one will never be to make the company the number one company. No, this will rather not be in the number one course of action. Rather, the number one course of action will be to think about the current department. Like if I want to work on the department to make the betterment of the department, I will add these things. That is an operational decision as respect to the supervisor. Again, the same thing. I have a very nice example in my head, and this was an example given in XLRI in one of my classes. So if you are a supervisor, suppose the supervisor was said that आपके डिपार्टमेंट में या फिर the head of the department was told that आपके डिपार्टमेंट में काफी ज्यादा खर्चे हो रहे हैं, try to cut it down. So what, as a supervisor or as a head of the department, what did person X do? The correct answer was not any ethical answer, but the correct answer in this case was he will stop out of the given options. He will be stopping the birthday gifts given to every employee. Now, if this would have been one of the options for you, you would have never selected it because आप तो सबसे ethical, सबसे logical answer खोजने को निकलते. But you wouldn't have focused on the fact that the person who is taking the decision is taking an operational decision that is at a low level of management, and therefore, the correct answer would be a very low level. I mean, you can say stoop down to a level and then think of something which will give you immediate effect. So if the head of the department cut short money on this, he will be able to achieve the smaller goal which he was asked to achieve, right? But if the same decision was to be taken by a VP or was to be taken by a CEO, he would never ever even think of cutting out on something which will lead to employee dissatisfaction. And therefore, this is the difference between whether your answer is going to be an operational decision or a strategic decision. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now we are going to talk about another very important aspect, which is decision making styles. Now, again, before I talk about what these different styles are, I'll tell you how can you use it in the question. Same, course of action. If you are given a question of course of action, you are going to first check which is or what is the person's characteristics who is taking the actions, okay, or who is taking the decisions. Is he authoritative in nature? Someone who is autocratic, who has all the powers in his own hand, and he makes sure that he controls every subordinate by rules and regulations. No one has the courage of criticizing the manager. So anyone who manages like this is having an authoritative nature. Hitler in normal language, what we call. Okay, so Hitler जैसा कोई manager है? तो वो authoritative है. Of course, this will not help us to find out an ethical answer, but this will help us to find out the course of action, or especially the type of questions. If you have observed, there's a descending order or an ascending order question for the course of action, that out of the given 5 or 6 options, what is the most appropriate or what is most likely to be done by Mr. X? Things like that. So, most likely to be done by Mr. X will be determined by the characteristic or the personality of Mr. X. So, they will never tell you directly in a question that Mr. X is authoritative in nature. Never. They will rather give you keywords, indirect information. Indirect information, like they will tell you that the subordinates of Mr. X do not have the courage to criticize Mr. X. Mr. X makes sure that he never invites participation in any decision from his team members. These are the keywords which will help you to guess or realize that Mr. X is authoritative, and क्योंकि बंदा authoritative है तो उसके course of actions different होंगे. Here you will never get an ethical answer. Here you will get an answer based on what kind of behavior the person is showing. Similarly, delegative. Delegative is a characteristic where a person just is very lazy, you can say, and starts giving out responsibilities to his subordinates, delegates the responsibility. ये आप कर लो, ये आप कर लो, ये आप कर लो. This kind of a person. Okay, he can be considered here as participative in nature, but at the same time, it's not a very successful characteristic of a manager. But see, we are not here to judge the manager. We are here to make a guess or forecast the things or the courses of action which a manager who is delegative in nature will do. I have a non-PYQ towards the end of this video where we will be discussing how the delegative thing will work in the answer. Okay, let's quickly move to participative. As the name suggests, will involve the subordinates to participate in the idea formation, brainstorming, and also in the decision making processes. So, of course, this will give you ethical answers in every case. And the last one we are going to consider here is the consultative manager, who keeps consulting not only his team members but his higher authorities as well, and just like that gives us a better result in every course of action. Again, just like participative, consultative is also something which will be focusing more on the ethical and the logical way of working. So you can guess the answers in this category accordingly. Now, here are some steps for the decision making process. Now, this is specifically, now this detailed process, let me tell you that this is not just the process, but a detailed process. To be very honest, I don't recommend you to follow all these steps in the examination, but this is only for practice purpose and for the ones whose accuracy currently in the DM section is less than or equals to 50%. Okay, so if anyone is falling in that category whose accuracy is less than equals to 50%, or whose accuracy is highly fluctuating while solving the PYQs or anything, mocks like anything. So for them, it's very essential and important to understand that accuracy is very important. So let's see how you will gain accuracy in the DM questions. Number one, as I've mentioned, is to identify a worthwhile problem or opportunity where the decision can be taken. See, that is where the question will help you. So you don't have to worry about this part. You don't have to identify the question. Question is there. You have to identify that in the question, which is the particular point where you have to stress on. So that is what you have to identify. The second step is to diagnose the problem and define the statement in your own words. This is very important. Until and unless you yourself understand what the problem is, you will never be able to find out a perfect solution for it. So that's essential. Third point is to classify the problem with the data given to you. Classify the problem ही मैंने आपको अभी तक समझाया है. All above things, previous so many minutes which I spoke was actually related to classification of the problem only. So you have to do that here. Then developing the alternatives is very, very important. See, these two go hand in hand, where you have to think of what can be the possible solutions for this. Then you will eliminate few solutions from there, thinking that, okay, this cannot be the answer because of this cannot be the answer because of this. And finally, you will come to one best alternative which you think is present in the options. Now you have to implement the decision. Now these 2 points are where majority of people fail. They either don't do it or they don't do it correctly. They look at an option, they think it is the right answer, and that's all. This is not the end, my dear friend. When you realize a particular option to be correct in a DM question, go back and read the question and try to implement the solution. Try to visualize it in your head that if you do this, will it be okay? Will it be feasible? Will it be legitimate? And things like that. Ask questions to yourself. That is called as implementing and reviewing your own decision. And once you are comfortable and feel that, okay, what I have done is right, move ahead. And that's what makes your answers accurate in the DM section. यही वो जगह है जहां majority लोग मार खाते हैं. So if you understand this and do this in your decision making section, you will really perform very nicely. Trust me. Okay, so time for the question now. I won't be giving you the question, so I recommend you to take a screenshot and start reading the question on the own. And yeah, one more very important thing which I want to tell you is don't skip my reading part, because when I read, I will read it like a person who has never read this set before. And it's true, by the way. So I'll try to stress out on the areas that might sound important to me. So do follow that as well. And I'll just scroll it down further so that you guys can take a complete screenshot of this paragraph, and then you can go ahead and check for the questions as well. Like I'll just slide down so that you can take screenshots properly and solve these questions on your own. And once you're done, then we can get started. All right, I have showed you all the questions. If you have stopped at the right places, you would have got the answer. Okay, then let's get started. So there are two people about whom we are talking, Mohan and Sunidhi. They are team leaders in different departments. Okay, so what we need to focus here is two people, team leaders, and in different departments. Both joined the company 5 years ago, so that's about their experience as sales trainee. They rose through the ranks with their own styles and work environment. This is not important. Differences of opinion and conflicts regarding sales territory, but that was fine. Sunidhi is a good worker. That's a fact. However, she holds back important details about projects from her team. So the problem with her is holding back details, revealing only those details that are required from her and getting the work done from her subordinate. Can anyone comment below and tell me a manager who actually asks the subordinates to do her work is a dash manager? We have done different types of leadership: authoritative, delegative, participative, consulting. You just find out of the four which one is this, okay? Her team members often complain about this, and they also feel that she is not approachable. So she is also aggressive when it comes to getting her way regarding resource allocation for her project. So these are all the buraiyas of Sunidhi which we have in this paragraph, along with only one achai, that she is a good worker. Okay, and I hope that आपको याद आ गया होगा. I'll just reveal out the answer. The answer here for the type of leadership is delegative. Okay, slightly delegative and slightly authoritative also, because she is non-approachable as well and as aggressive at the same time. Now, Mohan gets along well with his team member and co-workers, so definitely not authoritative. And he has more relaxed approach towards pitching his projects, and he's easily approachable, very friendly in his teammates, and he discusses projects with them in detail that can be participative or consulting in nature, and even seeks their inputs to make them feel more involved. So that's all good things about Mohan. Tough battles between Mohan and Sunidhi occur frequently over allocation of resources like manpower, funds, infrastructure for their project. So, on one instance, Sunidhi refused to lend a resource she could have spared with not too much of difficulty. So, this was not a difficult situation for Sunidhi, but still she said no. Okay, for an urgent requirement in Mohan's team. Consequently, Mohan had to urgently recruit a new employee, thereby increasing the company's fixed expenses. So this activity was not a direct blow to Sunidhi, but a direct blow to the company. ध्यान रहे, आपको डिसीजन किसके रिस्पेक्ट से लेना है ये आपको लास्ट में ही पता चलेगा. Their team members find their disputes embarrassing and demoralizing. So that's the reaction of team members. Their boss tried to get them together so that they could resolve their differences and establish a cordial work relationship. However, Mohan was reluctant to participate, saying he had no personal issues with Sunidhi and that he was up to her to maintain cordial relations. Sunidhi maintains that she is doing what is best for her team and the company. So they are like, हम लोग कोई सुलह भी नहीं करेंगे. We are not going to have a compromise at any point of time, and at the same time we'll kill each other. The matter has been escalated to the national head of sales. National head of sales is definitely not the strategic level, but is of the which level decision are we going to make? Think about it. Again, I'll fill in the blanks for you. Which level decision is this? Not strategic. So you are left with only two levels now. It can be tactical or operational. Think and answer. So question number one. What should be the immediate course of action taken by the national head of sales? As I told you, you have to take a decision. The answer is, I hope you will have commented below. The answer is tactical answer. I mean, tactical decision. And when it comes to tactical decision, it's a very balanced decision between subsiding the current needs at the same time looking forward to the vision and mission statement of the company. So, number one, transfer. Number two, transfer. Wrong. ये तो काफी easily eliminate हो गया. Number three, have a discussion with both. Okay, I did not tell you why ये easily eliminate हो गया. तो why ये easily eliminate इसीलिए हुआ है क्योंकि transferring one person and not the other person is unfair. Okay, we know that Sunidhi is a very good worker, so therefore just transferring her because of her bad attitude is not correct for the company as well. Okay, and similarly, both the ends transfer should not be done. Third, have a discussion with both of them separately and get to the root of the differences. Don't you think it is something which the person should do most logical and ethical way out? Until and unless you know the real reason for the differences, you won't be able to come out to a basic solution. Correct? That sounds correct, but we know the proper rule is to read all the options. So number four says establish a setup to ensure that both Mohan Sunidhi's requirements are met independently so that there are no conflicts. It is an ideal situation. Please understand this. This is an ideal situation which is practically unachievable. You can't just make everyone satisfied. Just because if you want that two members in your company, two employees in your company don't fight, you will give them everything possible is an ideal situation and practically not possible, unachievable. Then we come to point number five. Counsel the members of both the teams. Please understand the subject here. Members of both the teams to be tolerant of such disputes, citing the reason that the company is doing very well in spite of these squabbles. Does not make sense, out of scope, first of all. And secondly, the subject here is the member of the team. When did the member of the team had any issues? They were like not happy with this scenario, but ऐसा थोड़ी है कि उन लोगों ने काम करना छोड़ दिया या उन लोगों ने एक दूसरे के साथ डायरेक्ट फाइट कर ली. Never. So the subject is very important here. That helps us to eliminate option 5, leaving us with the correct answer for this question as number 3. This was an easy one, no doubt. Sorry. Question number 2. Okay, I know the video is going long, guys, but since it's a workshop, you have to have the patience. मेरे बारे में सोचो, I'm just recording it in one streak. So you also show some patience. Question number 2. If Sunidhi agrees to bury her differences with Mohan and have a professional relationship with him, what should be the ideal response of the national head? Oh, again, we are talking about the national head ka response, not what Sunidhi should do, rather what will be the response of the national head. To be very to be very honest here and very, very stupid as well, the simplest answer is that the national head will be happy, isn't it? He will be happy. But the answer is not happy. Let's check the options. Take Sunidhi's word and consider the issue resolved. That's a very direct thing. How can you call the issue to be resolved just by listening to one person? Second, call both Mohan and Sunidhi and ask Sunidhi to say it in Mohan's presence and then ask Mohan to reciprocate and consider the issue resolved. This looks like a parent-teacher meeting to me, by the way. Like, आप आओ, आप आओ, आप इसे sorry बोलो, आप इसे sorry बोलो, गले मिलो. But I still find it almost correct, like 20% correct, but let's see how the other options are going around. Take Sunidhi's word as an interim measure. Okay, what is interim measure? If you guys know, comment below. See, I want active participation of you guys. The reason I'm saying this is I'll get to know how many people are seriously preparing, because this will help me to also reply back to your comments with the same speed. There are some people who are doing time pass, and I know that. So, to avoid that, I generally don't reply very quickly to the DMs where I only find a hi, or I find that, okay, how's your college life going? See, guys, we are here with each other to learn. You are here to get some idea of how to crack an exam easily, and I am here just to give myself some peace of mind. I am happy at heart every night before I go to sleep, because I feel that I'm doing some kind of an philanthropic activity which should be a part of everyone's life. So that's why I am doing this, and that's why you are here watching this video. So don't do time pass, okay? All right. Now, interim, if you know the meaning, let me know in the comment section. And if you don't know, then let me tell you that it is temporary. So this will be a temporary measure, and observe their conduct for a month and then decide your next course of action. Remember, I told you I'll give you an example of delegative response. This is the person, national head. Delegative. Why delegative? Because उसने बोला मैं अभी कोई डिसीजन नहीं लूंगा. आपने ये बात बोली है, वेरी गुड सुनिधि. नाउ आई विल वेट एंड वॉच. आई जस्ट वॉच यू पीपल फॉर 1 month, and I'll see if you are actually standing by your word or not. If yes, then I'll think of the next course of action. And this is the best answer possible so far. But we'll still read the other options. Call Mohan, tell that Sunidhi's word and ask him to reciprocate. No, again, bacha wala activity. Question number 5. Option 5, disregard Sunidhi's word and ask her to display more convincing actions. Oh my God, it's so rude. You can never be rude, okay, in the decision making section as well as in a professional outset. Because जिस दिन आप रूड हो गए, उस दिन आपने अपनी करियर की ट्रैक को खुद अपने हाथ से बर्बाद कर दिया. Okay, so even if you are very angry at a person, you have to show the little amount of respect to that person and tell them that they are wrong, but still politely. Okay. All right. So all of this is wrong, and the correct answer here again is option 3. Now, the last question for the day, guys. Finally, I'm going to stop speaking and drink some water. All right. So, question number 3. Horizon Limited gets a new GM, general manager. He challenges the company's sole focus on sales to measure employee performance and make a suggestion to the board of directors to include two new parameters for determining the salaries of the employees. Those parameters will be adherence to the quarterly budgets and the quality of relationship you're having with the client. Now, Mohan and Sunidhi, though locked in a dispute, vehemently oppose the new GM's proposals together. They are like they still are in a they are not friends, but still they are here together, stating that हमें ये नहीं पसंद. We don't like this proposal of GM. And the question is, what is the reason for them to oppose the proposal? Option number 1. They consider the proposal as a serious threat to the position of Horizon. Operational decision. If any one of you remember this, operational decision is the one the team leaders take it, supervisors take it, department heads take it. And अगर ये decision मोहन और सुनिधि ले रहे हैं, they are also taking an operational decision, and they will be like, मुझे अभी का फायदा चाहिए, मुझे कंपनी का फायदा नहीं चाहिए, मुझे मेरी टीम का फायदा चाहिए. And that's what is absolutely wrong. That makes option 1 absolutely wrong. They are not bothered about the position of the company, okay? They do not feel these parameters are important enough to be considered. This is out of scope. This is wrong as well. Why completely wrong? Because see, these are important parameters which you cannot deny. So, wrong. See, these factors being the sole reason can be considered to be not fully correct, but they are a factor which has been currently in their salary measurements, like they were a part of the current salary measurements as well. Number 3, there is no clarity regarding the relative importance of, okay, again, this is never a reason, this is an excuse. So please understand what's an excuse and what can be the real reason. Okay. Number 4, they feel that the budgets laid down are unrealistic and cannot be adhered to. ये कहीं पे भी mention नहीं है. Again, it is out of scope. It is data insufficient. Data insufficient means there is no data given in the passage about what was the budget which was laid down by the GM. So we cannot say that they were opposed to the numbers. And the last one, they will have to work out of their comfort zones established over years. Where has it been written? If you guys go up and check, it's written that both of them are working in their own style. This means that they are constantly doing the work which they feel is correct. And when someone comes and gives them some rules to follow, both of them will not like it, and that makes option 5 as the correct and perfect answer for this non-PYQ. And that's all for this video, guys. Starting में बोलना भूल गई थी, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है that you won't do the regular drill. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and सबसे important बात, new हो, old हो, whatever you are, you're supposed to you're supposed to share this video with multiple people individually in the groups, जैसे भी हो सके, okay? Because I literally want to achieve some targets now. And yes, one more very essential thing, refer to the Instagram handle for the GK update, VA update, vocabulary update, and थोड़े बहुत मोटिवेशनल वीडियोस अगर आपको चाहिए, मुझे कोई बता रहे थे कि उन्हें कुछ फोटोज भी चाहिए एक्सएलआरआई के तो वो भी मिल जाएगा. एवरीथिंग विल बी देयर राइट देयर, एंड प्लीज रेफर टू द टेलीग्राम ग्रुप बिकॉज हियर इज व्हाट you will get your not targets basically but the reading material, like the material for reading and practicing will be provided in the telegram, and I'll be specifically telling you which page number to study and which exercise to do, so that will make your task easier. All right, that's all, guys. I hope you like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, keep studying, stay happy, and wait for my next video. Thank you so much.